Hey, what is happening, guys? Today I've got a super cool training, super cool guest for you. It's actually a very good friend of mine, Devin Tracy, who's on the call. What's up, Devin?
What up, man?
So today we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff. You see, Devin is, I'll let him kind of give his backstory and everything, but from what I know about Devin, he's a super smart guy, math teacher, former math teacher, I believe, and
hmm
then started selling stuff online, has been in the online world on and off, I think, for quite some time, and then recently tried a new strategy and was able to rake in $4,490 in just 21 days. And so today's training is going to be going over exactly how we did that. So if you're curious to see how he was able to rake in almost $5,000 in just under a month, pay close attention and we'll go ahead and get started. Devin, dude, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I was just spent the last 10 days traveling, so I've been home for a day. It's been fun.
I love it, dude. I love it. Where have you been traveling to?
So we live in my wife and I live in Fort Collins, Colorado right now, and our family is from Puyallup, Washington. So we went to Washington to surprise her dad for his 50th birthday. Then we traveled down to Oregon to hang out with some friends we have in Monmouth, Oregon, which is kind of close to Salem. Then we went up to Spokane, Washington for a conference over the weekend
Nice, dude. Nice.
and
Now,
flew back.
yeah, dude. I mean, see, it's cool because I think before you may not have been able to do all that kind of traveling and stuff because you were, you had a job like a normal human being. But before we actually get into like how you were able to make this cash and do this cool stuff in less than a month, tell us a little bit about your story. Who are you? You get kind of told us a little bit about where you're from, but tell us how what kind of profession you had before, how you transitioned into this online space.
So this is interesting. My career has been a story of two stories, like two parallel experiences, where I got myself a bachelor's in mathematics and a minor in statistics. I thought I was going to do actuarial sciences, which is risk assessment. Probably the most common job they take on is figuring out whether or not you can be insured through an insurance company. Um, but my senior year of college, I started doing informational interviews and job shadows, and just like, yeah, I could not do this job. They an actuary can make up to $750,000 a year. Uh, just decided that it wouldn't be worth it. Like, so I graduated with this degree that I had no idea what I was going to do with it, and ended up taking a job as a substitute teacher. And working as a substitute, I realized actually I really like teaching a lot more than I thought I would. So I found an alternate route to getting a teaching certificate, and I spent a couple years as a high school math teacher. Collectively today, I have just over 9,000 hours of teaching experience, which is absolutely insane for somebody who's 26 years old and has only taught for 2 years. But all the things that I did working in the community college, working in the tutoring center, I was an instructor on a special assignment at a community college for a term. All of that added up to where I have over 9,000 hours of teaching experience. Simultaneously, while I was doing this, I've owned my own business since I was 18. And so my first business that I ever really took seriously, my first business, I had no idea what I was doing. Um, Effectively, I was a paid speaker and I didn't even recognize that. But that's all I ever did that made money in my first business. But my first business that I actually took seriously and was tangible and quantifiable was a marketing agency that I started with my friend Nick Benton. We did 6,500 in revenue our second month in our marketing agency. Um, and since then, I've had this perpetual story of I'm really, really good at getting proof of concept in a business. I'm really, really good at starting a business, proving that I can do it. And I don't know if it's the creative nature of me, what it is, but as soon as it becomes monotonous, I tend to get bored. I tend to stop doing the right habits. I tend to stop doing what I know I should do. And then when the company starts petering off, I then don't feel bad about just stopping and doing something new. So for years, I would start a business, get a decent amount of side income from it, and then stop. And did that over and over and over again. Probably six successful companies in the last 8 years. Um, Last year, when the school year ended, we knew we were moving to Fort Collins, Colorado, and I went full time into my business at that point. And I thought, maybe the reason that I keep giving up on things that are successful is because I'm in a position where I can. And so maybe if I have to survive, if if I have to make it work, maybe then I'll make it work. And that kind of brings us to the story that why we got on here, which is what happened back in November. It took me 5 months to figure out what I was doing. And then November was really when I did a hard launch. So
I love that, dude. I love, and I don't think you're the first person to go through that. I know I went through that as well many times in the past. And a lot of people, when they're kind of dipping their toes into starting their own business, whether it's online or maybe just a side hustle of any kind, if they have that comfort of a job or something else that's paying them, it makes it easier to kind of say, all right, well, this made a little bit of money and it's not working that great now. I'm not really having fun. It's, and you just don't have to go as hardcore with it. But it's kind of like a weird catch 22, I guess. Like when your back is against the wall, it's like when you go all in on your business. But it's like, man, wouldn't it be great if we just didn't have to have our backs against the wall to do that stuff, But I think that's a common story that a lot of people listening are going to be able to relate to. So take us now to like, how did you make this almost $5,000 in 21 days? How did that work, and how did that come about? And let's go into that, man. That's really cool.
yeah, one thing that I might say just as a clarifier is I would word it as captured $4,500, whatever the exact number is, just because some of it came in contract that I still had to fulfill on. So
Sure.
in 21 days, I captured $4,490, and I make that distinction because even if it is a contract, I've learned that until the money's in my bank, it's not mine.
Of
So I've learned that because people breaking contracts on me. So
course.
but 21 days captured $4,490. So the funny thing about it is I started doing this test in October where I, for the first time, started running like Facebook and Instagram DM ads. And that was, for me, it was just an experiment. And I had no intention of what I was going to even do with the conversations I had. I just wanted to see how the system worked. And I've learned that I treat almost everything as experiments. I don't fail. I just run experiments. Um,
Way to
and
look at it, man.
and what ended up happening was I, in like the last week of October, when I started running these DM ads, I started recognizing that they're a really easy way to sell high ticket, and medium to high ticket. Depends on, I guess, what you define as high ticket, because I don't know that a DM ad could sell a $50,000 package.
Sure.
But it was just absolutely fascinating in the sense that people would respond to these DM ads and then just like share their life with me and then just answer any question I ask them with no reserves, no barriers. And, I'm used to like doing like Zoom call closes where sometimes I'll try to ask a bunch of questions on scheduling the call and they won't answer them. And sometimes I'll try to ask those same questions on the call and they'll be reserved. And in these DMs, they were just answering them. And they're just like, yeah, I'll tell you everything. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I decided in November I was going to like do a hard launch and do something tangible with it. Um, so by the way, I set a very big goal for November and I got less than halfway there. My goal for November was 10 grand. And I was going to get 10 grand through these DM ads and through having conversations with people and getting people on a Zoom call. And one of the things that I did during that time was I did a short video that I put on Facebook every single day. That was just an update on how the prior day went. And most of those videos, frankly, were yesterday was a zero. Like, and that's all I say. But in my
Well,
mind, yeah.
sorry, not to interrupt you, but when you were doing that, because I was watching this stuff go down, it showed a lot of transparency because you were being honest. Even like on this call, you were talking about the difference between captured and whatever make or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're an extremely honest and transparent person. That's why I like you so much, and why I think a lot of people resonate with like your message. And then whenever you post about stuff, you're like, yep, yesterday made no money. Here's the plan on overcoming that. Here's what I'm doing. But you're keeping it real. You know what I mean? You're just keeping it real, showing people exactly where you're at and showing them the journey on how you're getting to that next level. So they got to see, if they're following your path, like, hey, I started with $0. I ended up with like 4,000 something dollars. And they got to see you in between saying, all right, didn't make money. I made money. I didn't make money. Here's what I'm doing to make money. And it's just a cool journey that people can always trust is real because you're such an honest person. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I remember seeing that. I'm like, yeah, I know some of those videos were like, yeah, I made zero money. But it's like those were the coolest ones because you were being super honest about what business is like.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate hearing that. My philosophy has been that I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can. And one of the thoughts that I've had is like, I had one of those posts where somebody commented and said, "These are the only realistic numbers I've ever seen online." Like, they made that kind of statement. And I'm thinking, well, cool, because if you keep following me, then when the numbers no longer seem realistic, you'll still believe them. Like,
Or
you'll watch me grow and you'll be like, well, this guy's always been honest. So, and that's kind of what I'm seeing manifest in so many ways. Like, I was able to spend a third of this month traveling. My wife had to take the time off work, knowing it doesn't matter. I can work from a laptop anywhere, right? And I made like
right.
$500 while I was traveling, which isn't an insane amount of money, but like,
Right.
hey, that's $500 I made while on vacation. So, you know,
Exactly, exactly. I mean, there's for a lot of people who are trying to break away from their current job too, making an extra, say, $3,000 to $5,000 a month is not like something to like, blow smoke out or whatever. Like that's like real income that can add to your current income and can make a real difference in your life. So $500 is $500, dude. That's cool. That's fucking
right.
cool. So tell us a little bit now. So you're running DM ads now.
Mhm.
Let's say somebody here doesn't necessarily have a huge business, or even maybe they've got a business, or not a business, maybe they've got a job and they're trying to transition out. Like, can you kind of, without spilling everything, I guess, maybe can you tell us like what kind of stuff you are selling? Is it like you are already an expert in this, or tell us a little bit about that. Like, what was the offer like? What were the price points, and how did you close them? I know you were saying
Yeah.
DM, Zoom call, and stuff. So
Yeah.
tell us
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit about
So, like I said earlier, one of the things that I've been really good at historically is launching a company and getting proof of concept. So start to get a notable amount of revenue generated from a company. And what I've been bad at is maintaining the company at that point. And so what I realized back in October was that that puts me in this really weird spot where maybe the wisest thing for me to do is kind of to be I would call it like a zero to launch coach, like
that.
help people get started, because then I can kind of live vicariously through them, and I can do the part that I'm good at, and I can help them with the part that I'm good at, and then because I'm getting new clients, I'm not going to burn out and I'm not going to get bored, and because I'm always doing what's exciting for me. So I would say that the packages that I offer are primarily like in the zero to launch space. I would say that there's like three types of people who I love working with. People who are what I would call pre-idea. You want to start a side hustle or a business, and maybe you want to leave the day job, but you don't even know what you want to do. You just want to do something. And those are the people who tend to get captured by all of the like online gurus courses. And, one week they're like trying to do drop shipping, and the next week they're trying to do like solo ads, and there's all over the map all the time, right? Well, I like helping them figure out what they should do, because that's something that I spent 8 years figuring out for myself. So those are people I love working with. I love working with people who are what I would say free revenue. They have an idea, they know what they want to do, but they haven't made any sales yet. They don't know how to turn the idea into a business. I have a contact that I'm talking to right now who's kind of in that position, who they've been studying holistic health their entire life, and they're like, I don't know how to turn this into a business. And I'm like, well, that seems like an easy thing to turn into a business, so let's do that. And then the last one would say I would call it free stability. Like, yeah, I've got a couple sales. Okay, what's a couple? Well, a couple sales a month over the last year, and it's not making enough money to leave the job, and it's not growing, it's not scaling. Those people are probably the most interesting ones to work with, because so often those are the simplest ones to fix. It's like, oh, well, you just don't have a good traffic source. So the offer that I had back in November with these DM ads was basically a zero to launch type of offer. Like, even if you don't have an idea, I'm going to help you get proof of concept. I'm going to help you get revenue. And it was like a 3-month coaching package, and I had a ridiculous price on it. I called it my Black Friday deal, because everything I sell, Carlos, I sell through a value stack. Like everything, I always have a value stack, and the value stack was genuinely worth $8,000, and I was asking $1,500. And so, I only needed a couple sales to make my month. I only needed a couple sales to make my target goal, and it was a no-brainer deal for anybody who got to that point through my funnel, right?
That's huge, dude. That's huge. And that's one of the big things that I think comes with creating an irresistible offer is it almost has to feel like you're ripping yourself off. like, oh my goodness, I'm giving this person literally $8,000 worth of stuff, and it's $1,500 right now, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge steal of a deal, and that's one of the greatest ways to make an irresistible offer.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit, man, about where people can learn more about you and find you. Because if there's people who are listening to this that are interested in having their own side hustle, going from zero to launch, and maybe they fall into one of those three types of categories of person, where can they find you? Where can they learn more about you?
Yeah, probably the best way right now would be if they joined my Facebook group, Settle Your Side Hustle Facebook group. Let's Settle Your Side Hustle. And actually, Carlos, I'll give you a link if you want to post it that will get them onto the group, but it'll also get them some extra bonuses, a list of tools they might need. And in that group, I'm doing weekly live trainings where I'm teaching how I do all of this stuff, and it's all 100% free. So that would probably be the most valuable place for anybody to
That's
go to learn
huge.
more.
Yeah, where's the website? What's the website?
Yeah, thedevintracy.com/50 hyphen proven hyphen side proven hustles proven. It's very
Gotcha.
clean. So I'll give you the link.
Give me the
uh,
link. Give me the link. We'll make sure to drop it into this video. And for anyone that is just on Facebook watching this and you just want to hit the Facebook group directly, it's Settle Your Side Hustle.
yep,
Correct? Perfect.
absolutely.
Settle Your Side Hustle on Facebook. And we'll also drop a link if you want to check out all of his cool free bonuses when you go to the site. Dude, thank you so much.